joining me for Real Talk. I am your host, Coach Dawn, and I am so excited to have our special guest, Bashir Khan. And I'm going to let her introduce herself because, like you guys know, I always say nobody can introduce you better than you can introduce yourself. So, Bashira, please introduce to our audience who you are, what you do, all yours.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bashira Khan. I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm a mother, wife, friend. I'm just all around. I try to be an all around good person.
You know what?
Currently,
Mm-hmm.
currently, I'm a facility supervisor at Atlantic Cape Community College.
Oh,
I
wow.
yes, I supervise maintenance trades, housekeeping, grounds labor maintenance. That's my job, but my
Right.
passion is entrepreneurship.
I know that.
I do a little bit of everything according to the season. From January to about April, I do taxes. After that, I do high vac work. I'm a licensed plumber. I do HVAC. So I do that all year long when I want to. I bake cakes. I do everything that anything that I want to do, that I try to learn to do, I try to share with people. And I just go all day from the moment I wake up, my first prayer, to about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going.
I hope you fit in some self-care going
Oh
through
yeah,
all of this.
I take care of myself.
Good.
I take care of myself. I like retail therapy.
I'm not mad at you. I understand.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love it. See, that's what I'm talking about. You're very ambitious, and you are a type of mindset, it sounds like, where you bring in different revenue streams. And so, yes,
Yes.
you are the epitome of an entrepreneur because you understand the value of bringing in wealth
Yes.
to your household.
And I would say that I didn't always know this, but I would say it was maybe 3.5 years ago. I had the dream job. I was working in the facilities engineering department of the biggest casino here in town,
Wow.
and it closed after 2 years. And so in my career, I started low entry, answering the telephones. I worked my way up. I was a groundskeeper. Then I did an apprenticeship for 5 years. And during the apprenticeship, I just was like, how will I keep myself relevant? I said, every time that you go to school, make sure you get your license for whatever it is that you were going to school for, because in most trades, you never have to go back and do the testing again. You're just paying a fee to. So that's what I did. And then I became a plumber for a couple years for a casino here. And as I got older, my children got older, I thought about going into management, and that's what I did. I got the opportunity to be a supervisor, and then I got promoted within 6 months. Then I became a manager, and I just was like, when that job closed, I said, oh, it was unexpected.
Right.
So what am I going to do? So I had 6 months to figure it out, because in New Jersey, you get 6 months unemployment.
Right.
And I said, what are you going to do? And one of my friends, Chrissy Selby, said, no, you got to invest in yourself. And I was like, huh? I mean, I did so many things that I just did, it's just me. You would come over my house, I'd bake you something. She's like, no, you got to make money. Like, stuff is not free. But when you making good money, I wasn't thinking about it like that. So from that conversation with Chrissy, I started baking more. And my love of baking comes because I love cakes and cookies. So it's just, I think your passion should be something that you enjoy.
Yes.
I
agree.
So I started baking at my last job, and because I didn't celebrate holidays, and I had 125 mechanics, and I said, how do I show my appreciation to them? So I started baking, and that's what I would do. And then when the property closed, a lot of my men would call me and say, Stuffy, can you make me this? Can you make me this? And before I knew it, I was making $1,000, $1,500 a week baking, and I just was like, wow, you know,
Wow.
this is something that I enjoy, you know.
Right.
So then that propelled, and I said, how do I help the women around me so that we don't find ourselves in this same situation again? And with that, I started a group called Sisters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked at the women in my community who I knew who provided a service that I was willing to pay for. And I said, you know, my one girlfriend, her name is Aisha. She had a brand. Well, she didn't have a brand at that time, but if you went over her house, she would say, you want a cup of tea? And I said, you know, you should market your teas because, you know, they're good. So she created her brand. She named it Spouts because of a tea spout. And then I have a young lady that I would go to, Brown Baby Cakes. She created a brand to show positive brown images of little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I just buy into things that I believe in. And so with Brown Baby Cakes, my granddaughter, when she turned 1, we did a whole birthday party themed after Brown Baby Cakes, from the cake to all the decor, everything. And so we grew. That's how I met Shanae. And at one time we had 35 individuals, and you know, it wanes because people get distracted or whatever, but the
Right.
core of my group, which I learned from Shanae, you know, she was like, not everybody gonna rock with you the whole time, but the ones that will. So the ones that are here, I still only buy from this group of women. I mean, every day on my Facebook page, I make it my business to support a woman entrepreneur, whether it's from a pen to whatever.
That's sure, that's great. Like, so this really is a great segue into how would you define entrepreneurship then? That's
Uh,
just really segue right into that definition, that question.
well, you know, by definition, it means to start, run, and grow a business. So for me, I would say it would be, I think it's already what you're doing. If you
Mhm.
find something already that you're doing and that's your passion, because most of us work and we work for other people, have your passion work for you. That's
Mm.
what I would say. And that's what I find, because when I'm doing what I want to do, I find
Mhm.
myself the happiest. The only reason why I work for someone else is because medical insurance is
Right,
just really high. But if
right,
I could get one of the many things that I do to help me facilitate the next level of where my quality of living, then
right.
I wouldn't even go work for anybody else. But sometimes this is what you need to do. And so I just make sure that I give as many hours that I'm willing to give for somebody else to myself. And
Right,
so
right, right,
hopefully in the long run, it'll pay off for me.
right. Great.
And if it doesn't pay off for me monetarily, it's paying off for me.
In another way.
Yeah, it's food for my soul, because when I see other people now saying, oh, well, I did this because you said this or whatever, like that's all it really takes, is to plant its seed.
Sure. Sure. So with that being said, how do you think entrepreneurship can be used to help uplift the community or uplift a family, especially relating to uplifting people out of poverty into profit? Because as you know, as we kind of discussed a little bit earlier, um, usually if you get unemployed, it's not so much about giving you training or skills or paying you unemployment until you can start a business, but it's usually will give you enough money so you can find another job, and only for 6 months, like you said. But
Mhm.
how can we use entrepreneurship as a path versus unemployment or other paths? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say first we have to just change the mindset of our community,
Okay.
because it's deeper than just entrepreneurship. I mean,
Okay.
we're willing to put dollars into other companies and other brands, but we won't do the same thing for ourselves and people that are right here. And the only example that I could give you for that is just that I have a brand. It's called Saving is Sexy. I've been doing Saving is Sexy for, I would say, 10 years for free. Just telling people like this is what I use to help me save money. You know, I save my coins, I save dollars, I save $5. And every
Right.
Friday I come on Facebook and I put, you know, this is how much you need to save today or whatever. But I never charge individuals. It's just free because it has worked for me.
Right.
Soon as I marketed, I wanted to sell some t-shirts. I started with 35. It took me forever to sell the 35 t-shirts because I never was like, oh, buy this t-shirt, because I just figured that if I'm buying from people, at least the people that I've supported over the years or whatever, they would in turn do the same. But that didn't happen because, you know, it's like, oh, that's your thing. But if I was selling something that said Nike or a brand that was
Right.
I believe they will come out. So I think you have to change the mindset of people. I think you have to invest in your community as far as like getting out and seeing what the need is in your community.
Okay.
And just talking to people, being of service to your community, because people are afraid. You know, that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, you're taking a risk.
A huge risk.
And I'm willing to take this risk and see what's going to happen, opposed to knowing that if you go and do 40 hours over here, you're going to get a paycheck, or you hope that you're going to get a paycheck.
Right, right, right.
And then tapping into your skill set.
Right.
People don't really realize the things that they do just every day in their lives that someone would be willing to pay for.
That's true. That's true too. So you do believe that entrepreneurship can be a really good path to help uplift communities out of poverty and into profit, but it's really about first changing their mindset about entrepreneurship and what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Yes, because you're not taught entrepreneurship. You're not taught that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I give you an example. A few years ago, I was on the Atlantic City School Board, and we had an individual on the school board, and that was his platform to teach entrepreneurship. And they just would not have it, you know. And I was like, well, they really wouldn't. But that's just like, you know, you try to push trades. People really don't want to hear about the trades, but originally, that's what African Americans did. Our grandfathers, our ancestors were tradespeople. You know, but now not everybody's going to go to college. You know, if you do, that's a good thing. But if you had a trade, you know, I always tell kids now, because I go back to the schools and I speak to girls about women in non-traditional careers.
Yes.
You know, when I show up, they're like, I say, what is the career you think that I'm in? And it's always, oh, you either a caseworker or a DIFAS worker, social worker. And then, you know, I usually have my tool bag in a big designer bag. And when I pull it out, they're like, what's that? I'm like, I'm a plumber. You know, I've been a plumber. I do high back work. You know, I do a little electric, you know, everything. And they like, what? So it's like, we don't even, I'm like, if you had a trade while you were in high school, you know how much money you would save your parents? Go to college. But once you're away in college, you can use that same trade. Like if you had your universal license,
right,
for a boiler, you can use that anywhere. So you send your child away to Florida, and he's in Florida. He can go work for somebody. He's making money, you know, help you pay for school. Like it's so many different things that we could do that we just don't, but I think it's because we don't have real conversations.
I love that. I'm glad you said that, and I agree with you 100%. And I've always told my kids, try to learn something else. My kids are the college-bound kids, but I always said, have a skill that will earn you money, that will earn you your money.
Yes.
And it's so funny that all three of my kids have a skill that they can always make
Turn
money.
back. Exactly.
For themselves. And I just think that is so important. You can't beat having a trade. You just can't. I don't care if all you do is know how to paint. That's what you have to have.
I think we don't think about that, because even when I was away at college, now, you know, thinking back, I said, oh, well, you know, Sharon, she used to do hair on the floor. See? You know, so that's a trade.
It's a trade.
You know? So, I mean, you know, when you're in college, everybody is taking from each other. You have the entrepreneurship right there.
Right there.
You're not thinking of that. You're thinking like, let me get out of college and then go on to be whatever I'm going to be. And that's a good thing. But We're not thinking like, oh, we're teaching each other how to barter. We're teaching each other how to trade. You
Yeah.
know, it's all right there.
That is so true. And that whole mindset is important for communities. If
Hmm.
you have people in communities that are willing to do things like you said, bake, cook, electric, plumbing, babysitting, carpooling, mechanics, all of that stuff, people in the community can help each other.
And
And
talking,
and talking. Yes,
communicating.
yes,
Because I
yes.
reached out to Shanae. I was looking for someone to transfer my image on a couple items.
Okay,
I found a company, but it wasn't in my price range. I
okay.
said, Shanae, do you know somebody? She found me a young lady that lives less than a mile from my house. So
Wow.
I'm only going to buy from her. And I
Right.
told her, you know, I'm going to get some other women to come to you. So I have more women for her. And then my children's friends, you know, you see them growing up, you see what they do. And I reached out to my daughter. I said, what happened to your girlfriend that was good in art? She was like, oh, yeah, mom, she still does that. I called the little girl. She's a young lady now. She
Right.
came over my house. She sat here with me and she's going to make me, because I want my brand to be bigger now. So I said, I got to spend money to make money, right?
Right.
So she sat here with me for an hour. And when she got up to leave, I said, oh, I got to pay you. He was like, for what? I said, consultation.
That's
She was
right.
like, really? I'm like, yes. And I paid her. And she was like, well, I didn't do anything yet. I said, but you gave me your time.
Exactly. Exactly. See? Exactly.
So that's my mindset on it. Like nothing is free.
Nothing is
And
free.
I'm willing to give people what I know for free or whatever. But at some point, you have
Exactly.
you know, you got to respect that, you know, this takes my time.
Exactly. It takes your time, your knowledge, your skills.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, what do you think are three major skills an entrepreneur should have?
For me, the first thing would be time management.
Ooh.
Time management. Because, oh, I think every business, whether you're an entrepreneur, if you're working for somebody else or whatever, it speaks in volumes if you show up on time.
Right.
If you respect the other person's time, because you set this appointment with me,
Right.
and I, you know, if you don't show up when you tell me you're going to show up, I find that you disrespect me. So in business, you make money when you're time conscious, and you're able to do more when you're conscious of the time. And that means not overlapping yourself. If I'm doing this interview with you and it's 9:30 to whatever time it is, when you tell me it's over. Unless we're doing something that's productive, but
Right.
I wouldn't say like schedule something else in that 15-minute window. Give yourself time to get to the next one. So I would
Right.
say time management, um, set short goals, something that's attainable. Because sometimes we aim too, you know, it's just too big. It's not realistic. So I think it's attainable if you set a small goal and you see that you achieved it, then it'll make you reach for a bigger goal. Do the
Okay.
small things first. So
Okay.
time management, goals, small goals, and being innovative. You got to change
Ooh.
with you changing with the times. Because what
I
worked
like.
today is not going to work tomorrow. So you got to be willing to change a little bit and be receptive if you come in contact with somebody and say, yo, you know, sis, I don't think this is the right thing for you to be doing. You need to tweak it a little bit, because maybe they see something that you don't see. Because when it's your baby, you just like, well, it's mine, it's going to work.
That is true. That is
So
true.
those three things: time
Awesome.
management, small goals, and to be innovative.
I love it. So, is there anything you would like to add before we close out about how we talk more about and promote entrepreneurship in our community? Anything you'd like to add before we close out?
Um, I think if you just, I write stuff down too. I write a lot of stuff down. I make a 5-year plan for myself. I say, where do I see myself in 5 years? I ask that of my children too. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And if you can't figure it out, then you need some alone time. Because you do. You do.
I like that. I like
You
that.
know, I don't think that I have the answer for everything. I share with what works for me,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and I learned by, you know, listening to older people, listening to the women in my life that are my friends,
Right.
you know, that are going to tell me the truth even when I don't want to hear it. Like I said, my brand is Saving is Sexy, and that brand came about just being a single mom and not wanting to say no to my children. And I don't know if I was told no growing up by my parents, but that was the one thing, like, oh, I ain't never going to say no to my children, you know? So, but yeah, so you know, when you live in paycheck to paycheck and you just have a little bit, my girlfriend said the other day, she was like, "You're the only person I know that could have survived off $20 a week." But I was so frugal, like it's $20, that's what it is. I'm not going over or whatever. But anytime my children asked of me for something, whether it was, oh, they wanted to go get a book or something, I knew I had the money for it. So I taught myself, because I made mistakes, I fell, I had to file bankruptcy. And now thinking back, I really didn't have to file bankruptcy. I filed bankruptcy almost 20 years ago for $7,000 because there was nobody around to talk to me about money. So I saw a little ad in the paper. It was like, come here for bankruptcy. The guy made so much money off of me. I was just like, oh my God, for $7,000 now, people will say something. I'll say, don't you pay somebody $49 to fix your credit. I'm gonna show you how to fix your credit. Stuff is so free. You can do webinars. It's so much stuff out on the internet. Why we want to pay? And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. That's not what I'm saying. But when you don't have money, why would you be willing, for example,
money you don't have?
To spend money you don't have? Like
Right.
most of the things are $49 a month. You can look on your credit report and see that you have something for $300. So if 6 months you could have paid that off yourself without paying that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So me, I'm just, you know, with my Saving is Sexy, it was just a cookie jar that I was throwing change in. And my daughter made the honor roll, and I said, you know, you don't have school today, let's go cash the change in. And when we cashed it in, it was $700 and something. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not a liar, so I can't take it back from her. Like, oh, you can't have that, you know, because I told her. So I was like, but you got to open up a bank account.
That was smart.
Yes, and she opened up the bank account, and I believe she was about 5 or 6 years old, and she's 20, she's going to be 23. And every year since then, I have saved my coins. And when I cash the coins in, I would take my daughters on vacation somewhere. So then I just was like, okay, I did coins. Now let me do dollars. So every week of the year, whatever the week is, like this is the 40th week of the year, I save $40. That allows me to save minimum $1,400 a year. And now that I make a little bit more money, I'm doing a little bit more things, I challenge myself to the $5 challenge. And how I'm able to achieve that goal is that everything that I sell ends in a 5. So 9 times out of 10, if I sell you something, if I sell you a cake, it's $25, $35, I'm going to get a $5 bill from that.
Right.
So I take that $5 bill and I put that in my challenge, and then the money, I put that away in my, you know, I have an envelope for everything that I do. I never cross-contaminate the money, you know, and then the end of the year, I take it all to the bank. I mean, I take it all to the bank all the time.
Right. I know what you mean.
January 1st, January 2nd, whatever the first Monday is of the year, I sit right on my computer and I plan my trips. So for my coin challenge this year, I went to Colombia. It would cost me $950. So I only had to put $100 towards my trip to Colombia. Then later on, maybe 6 weeks later, I went to Aruba. I took my mom and my husband. Total for 3 people, that cost me $1,300. But with the dollar challenge, I saved $1,500. Now in 2 weeks, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to go to Africa for 2 weeks off of my $5 challenge. So, you know, it's small goals, you know, and I can see it now. I'm like, oh, do you understand that you've been traveling for the last couple of years? I take 4 trips out of the country. You know, I'm not scrambling to be like, oh, I need money for vacation. But all of it is setting small goals, communicating with people,
Mhm.
you know, and just doing what I love. This is what I love to do.
You know what's
So,
really funny? Your challenge would be a
mhm,
great way for people to put money together to start little businesses too. Like
yes.
I'm sitting here in my head going, we're always scrambling to try to raise money.
Hmm.
And instead of getting loans, if you did a small challenge like that, you'll be able to raise your own money to start your little small businesses.
Yes.
Like
Like
I love that idea.
on Monday, I'm actually doing my saving challenge at a university.
Nice.
nearby. You know, so somebody I went to one of the sororities had a retreat, and I did saving is sexy PowerPoint presentation for them,
I
and
love it.
someone was in that group and she recommended me over here. So I mean, those are the little, I never
Yeah.
saw this for myself, but it's the slow, and I'm willing to cultivate my, you know, my craft and
Yeah.
just get it to the next level. And again, knowing that everything you do is not necessary you're compensated in money. Sometimes
Right.
it's the compensation of your soul, and
Yes.
you know what I mean,
Yes.
because I've
Yes.
been in Colombia. When I was in Colombia, somebody recognized my brand and was screaming my name in the airport, Bashira, Bashira. And I was looking around like, this is a Latin country, you know, a Spanish
How
country.
you know me
No
here?
one knows me here. And Bashira is not a common name in a Spanish country, but it was somebody from Atlanta, Georgia that recognized me from Facebook. Yes. And so
Okay.
it's crazy. I've been to restaurants eating dinner locally and get my bill and say, well, this is not right. I'm sure my bill is supposed to be more. And then the manager will come out the back and say, oh, I'm following you. Like, you're saving is sexy. I'm saving money too. So dinner is on me. That has happened to me more than a handful of times.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Well, unfortunately, because I know we're about to run out of time and I don't want to cut it off. And I told you it was going to go by quick, right?
Yes, you did.
Again, I want to tell everyone thank you so much. Please follow Bashira Khan on Facebook. I love your what saving is sexy. So come on,
Saving is
like
sexy.
let's save our coins. See, I like being sexy, so I'm gonna save a little bit more money. I like that.
Yeah.
So please follow her. I love that topic, and definitely I would love to keep communicating with you because there are workshops that I do, and sometimes I'm looking for different speakers, and I'm always looking for speakers that talk about practical ways to help people save. So
Thank
I
you.
love that idea. So I'm definitely going to keep you in mind for one of our upcoming workshops. So again, everybody, thank you so much. Bashira, what's your Facebook handle? How can people follow you?
On Facebook, my name is Bashira Khan. And
Awesome.
on there, I have a couple pages on there. I have the Saving is Sexy 52-week challenge, and I have Sisters with Coupons.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So yes, follow Bashira on Facebook. And saving money is a beautiful thing. Like you said, saving money is sexy, and it is. I agree with you. So again,
Thank you.
everybody, thank you so much. Um, Remember to follow me, Coach Dawn, on Read Ready Life Coaching. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Read Ready. And again, everybody be safe, be happy. I wish you all peace, love, and blessings. And I'll talk to you all next month with our next topic. So thank you so much for joining. Have an awesome day, everybody.